Anyone who has seen this seed must die. But I swallowed it directly and nurtured it in my belly for 18 years, continued from the previous episode. New friends are advised to start from the first episode. The main text begins. Liu Zhengyin's expression changed drastically. You're using your public position for private revenge. Zhu Jianshan shrugged shamelessly, not convinced. You can go complain to the Qingyun sect. If you don't complete the mission within 10 days, your Liu family can just wait for everything to be confiscated. Everyone knew well, this was no empty threat. Once an assigned mission wasn't completed, the Qingyun sect will indeed mete out severe punishment. Asking the Liu family to eliminate the Bloodbat Palace's branch master. Wasn't this a joke? The strongest in the Liu family was merely Liu Zhengyin. That branch master was said to be an expert at the second level of foundation establishment. Moreover, the opponent was inherently cruel. How could Liu Zhengyin possibly be his match? Zhu Jianshan said calmly. At his leisure, Fang Chen raised a slip of paper. Uncle, leave the branch master to me. He was confident he could advance to the foundation establishment realm. Once he obtained the Seeking Dragon scripture, his strength would rise another notch, enough to handle the branch master. Liu Zhengyin patted his shoulder, gratified. Truly worthy of being the son-in-law I approve of. You really haven't disappointed me. He turned his head to look at Zhu Jianshan, saying with disgust, a despicable person like you is fit to marry my daughter. My Liu family wants someone with backbone like Fang Chen. You aren't even fit to carry Fang Chen's shoes. Zhu Jianshan flew into a rage out of humiliation. He gritted his teeth. Fine. If I don't see the branch master's head, I'll take yours, and you, Fang Chen, when you return empty-handed. Let's see what face you have to show the Liu family. He left in anger. Fang Chen clenched his fists. Time was extremely tight, but Liu Zhengyin patted his shoulder, saying, relax, of course, I will be the one to kill him. You just stay home and accompany Ruxu. In his heart, his choice was the same as Fang Chen's. Even without Fang Chen speaking up, he would have refused decisively this kind of dangerous task. How could a junior be allowed to handle it? While he, the family head, remained indifferent. After everyone had dispersed, the members of the Liu family each felt a sense of crisis. One after another, they began practicing their cultivation techniques. Only Fang Chen was an exception. He had already broken through to the 8th level of Qi refinement. It would be difficult to break through further any time soon. Wanting to increase his strength, he took out the high yellow rank offensive technique, the 7-star sword art. This was the highest level sword art in the entire city. Extremely profound, and right now, what he lacked most was a sword. He retrieved the lightning struck wood obtained from the auction from under his bed. To Tai Soul Art mentioned that Thundervein Spiritual was an excellent material for refining artifacts. Even without mastering the way of artifact refinement, one could turn it into a natural artifact, Fang Chen murmured. He picked up a small knife and carved it bit by bit. A wooden sword that looked dark and very crude was held in Fang Chen's hand. This is an artifact. Fang Chen scratched his head. He tried swinging it through the air a few times, but it didn't show any signs of being an artifact like in the legends. It was said that as soon as an artifact was used, it would unleash special abilities. This wooden sword showed no reaction at all. Unwilling to give up, he tried gently tapping his own forearm with the sword. The moment it touched, a streak of lightning emerged from the wooden sword, striking Fang Chen's arm. His entire body was numb from the electricity. His limbs were stiff, his body unable to move at all. It took quite a while for him to recover. His heart, having been struck by the current, was pounding wildly without stopping, making him gasp for breath continuously. This lightning, he finally understood what a natural artifact was. Having endured countless lightning strikes, this piece of Thundervein Spiritwood contained a trace of thunder force. When attacking, tapping it on an enemy could paralyze their body. This was a sharp tool for killing enemies. Fang Chen immediately recognized its wonderful use. He couldn't help but be overjoyed. He immediately began practicing according to the 7-star sword art. This sword art was divided into upper, middle, and lower layers. The first layer was solitary star points to the firmament. The second layer was 3 stars illuminate the moon. The third layer was 7 stars face north. Each form was stronger than the last, especially the final form. Its instantaneous killing power could even sever mystic ire. And just like comprehending cultivation methods, when he practiced the sword art, there were surprisingly no bottlenecks. Except for the last layer, which took some effort. The entire sword art presented no difficulty. The sword art was mastered. At the same time, he didn't neglect his cultivation method at night. With the aid of the supreme grade Qi refinement liquid, he successfully advanced to the peak of the 8th level of Qi refinement. All he needed was a hearty battle to solidify his spiritual power and successfully break through to the 9th level. Guizhou City's ascending dragon path has opened. Liu Ruxu came to report the good news with a joyful face. Fang Chen was slightly startled. This is a trial ground established by the Qingyun sect. In every city, inside, not only is the spiritual Qi dense, making it very suitable for cultivation, you can also battle various projections within it. They are all projections of past prodigies from the Qingyun sect in their youth. The projections will execute various techniques, displaying their strongest state. Because they are only projections, they won't harm the trial takers, yet they can enhance the trial takers' actual combat abilities. It was originally opened once every 10 years, this time, with the imminent extermination of the Bloodbat Palace remnants, it's being opened exceptionally. Let's hurry over. What Fang Chen lacked most right now was precisely actual combat experience. The ascending dragon path was a tower, a winding stone staircase, extended from the first floor to the highest floor. Quite a few people were already standing on the stone steps, fiercely executing martial techniques into the air. Liu Ruxu said, "Little Chen, on each stone step, there will be a projection. Only by defeating it can you move up one step." It said that those who perform outstandingly. Fang Chen didn't care. He just wanted a big fight as soon as possible. He immediately stepped onto the first level. As soon as his foot landed, darkness fell before him. He appeared on a wide-open plain, a projection of an 18-year-old youth. Qi refinement level 5, meaning the threshold was the 5th level. Fang Chen nodded. A light punch shattered it. No difficulty at all. Fang Chen quickly walked up to the second step. Teach Qi refinement level 5, still one punch. Chen Yuanqing. Qi refinement level 6, still one punch. Teach Qi refinement level 6. Fang Chen took them down almost one punch each. His steps hardly paused, as if simply walking, until he defeated the Qi refinement level 8 projection. Did his pace slow down? Just as he looked up, he saw that ahead of him was actually Liu Ryan. She was drenched in sweat, battling fiercely against the air. It was clear this peak Qi refinement level 8 projection was causing her considerable trouble. Thinking about it, it was normal. These were all prodigies of the Qingyun sect. The cultivation techniques they practiced, how could they be mere low yellow rank like the Liu families? Although Liu Ryan's cultivation reached Qi refinement level 9, when facing a peak Qi refinement level 8, the difference in techniques became apparent. Peak Qi refinement level 8. Fang Chen thought for a moment and stepped up. Immediately, a tall and slender young woman appeared before him. Her face was incomparably beautiful. Isn't this the purple-clothed lady from the city lord's mansion? Named Liu something Xian, Fang Chen still remembered. She had given him a purple token. To this day, he still didn't know what the token was for. The projection before him was clearly the purple-clothed lady in her youth. Several years younger, peak Qi refinement level 8. She drew a purple sword, executing a dazzling set of sword techniques. Fang Chen immediately drew his sword to respond. Although her sword technique was extraordinary, his own 7-star sword art was superior. In just 3 rounds, he knocked her long sword away. As the darkness before him receded, Fang Chen had succeeded. He found Liu Ryan still gritting her teeth, holding on. Trapped in a bitter fight, Fang Chen stepped onto the 9th step. A handsome youth with sharp features appeared. Qi refinement level 9. Within the clouds above the Chen family estate, Ye Qingxue frowned deeply. "Uncle Chen, are you sure she is really covering for that 3-star soul master? We've been monitoring her for 4 days, apart from visiting the Chen family's various businesses. Chen Siling hasn't contacted any strangers at all." This made even Chen Zhengdao doubt his own judgment. Could it be I was too suspicious? He rubbed his nose. Liu Qingxue sighed. "This 3-star soul master is really hard to find." Liu Qingxue suddenly stood up, looking towards the ascending dragon path in some surprise. Someone broke my projection in the ascending dragon path. Chen Zhengdao chuckled. What's so surprising about that? That was just your projection at 18. Ye Qingxue said, in surprise, but this person defeated me in 3 moves. Oh, Chen Zhengdao showed a look of surprise, even Ye Qingxue at 18. Her strength was not to be underestimated. He pondered briefly. Could your senses be mistaken? Even that 9th grade spiritual root in the city seems to only be at refinement level 7. Defeating you in 3 moves is quite unrealistic. The ascending dragon path is only open to the young. It doesn't make sense for there to be such a formidable young person. Ye Qingxue thought for a moment, uncertainly perhaps, after all, among peers of the same age group, defeating her, the Sect Master's daughter, in 3 moves, is a bit too exaggerated. It's likely a misperception. Chen Zhengdao, who was monitoring, also stood up suddenly, staring towards the ascending dragon path with astonishment in his eyes. Such a strong reaction startled Ye Qingxue. Chen Zhengdao's eyes showed shock and doubt. My projection. The opponent only used 10 moves. Ye Qingxue was even more astonished than him. No way. During that period, you were known as the #1 prodigy within the Qingyun sect's territory, invincible in your era. Chen Zhengdao's 8th grade spiritual root was no joke. Coupled with the resources allocated by the Qianji Pavilion, so at 18 years old, if not invincible throughout the entire Qianji Pavilion territory, at least within the Qingyun sect's territory, he was invincible in the world. His projection being broken, doesn't that mean a prodigy even more stunningly talented than him has been born? You stay here and continue monitoring. I'll go see who this sacred figure is. Chen Zhengdao left Ye Qingxue behind and rushed over quickly. This Guizhou city place is too strange. Ye Qingxue gritted her teeth, her eyes full of unwillingness to accept it. It's clearly a remote little place. Producing a 9th grade spiritual root is one thing. Let's just say Guizhou city hit some immense good fortune. But what's with a 3-star soul master popping up too? The soul master hasn't been found, and now an unparalleled prodigy, a monster talent, appears. What is Guizhou city trying to do? Is it preparing to ascend to the heavens? She also quickly steered her giant blue eagle. At this moment, Fang Chen had already stepped onto the 10th step, peak refinement level 9. Fang Chen instantly felt immense pressure, but this was better. He used all his strength, even employing the lightning attribute of his wooden sword. Even so, they exchanged hundreds of rounds before he barely managed to pass. Looking at the 11th step above, the exhausted Fang Chen directly turned back the way he came. Facing the peak refinement level 9, he already felt strained, let alone the foundation establishment realm. There was no need to force it. He should now return and cultivate peacefully, taking advantage of his solidified spiritual power. Break through to the 9th level of refinement in one go. He would try again when he had the chance. On his way back, he found Liu Ryan still battling the refinement level 8 peak projection, and Liu Ruxu had actually succeeded in defeating the refinement level 5 and peak level 5 projections. She was currently engaged in a fierce battle with the refinement level 6 projection. Fang Chen felt extremely gratified. He didn't disturb her and left the ascending dragon path. He then went to the Chen family estate. Tonight, he would be able to break through to refinement level 9. It was time to prepare for foundation establishment, and for any cultivator establishing their foundation, one type of pill was indispensable. This was a 2nd grade spirit pill. Currently, only that soul master from the Qingyun sect could refine it. It was almost never sold on the market. It only circulated in the black market. Seeing Fang Chen in his heavy disguise, Chen Siling was startled and quickly pulled him into her boudoir. Looking at the exquisite woman's room, Fang Chen felt a wave of awkwardness. This was the first time he had entered a woman's private room. He was quickly alerted by Chen Siling's words. "Someone is looking for me." Fang Chen's heart trembled. Regardless of whether they were friend or foe, he could not expose his identity, because he was currently still too weak, yet possessed an ability coveted by the world. Once discovered, the consequences would be unimaginable. The supply of superior refinement liquid might have to stop for a while. Fang Chen pondered, but doing so will affect your Chen family's business. He had promised before that he would continuously supply the superior refinement liquid. Chen Siling was burning with anxiety. Why worrying about my family's business? Protecting yourself is what's important. Don't ever come here again in the future. Seeing her thinking so much for his sake, Fang Chen felt even more apologetic. Does your family have the materials for the foundation establishment pill? I'll refine some more now. In the future, the Chen family can rely on it to continue attracting customers. Once this blows over, I will resume refining the superior refinement liquid. Chen Siling was startled, but only the Qingyun sect has this pill recipe. Fang Chen smiled faintly. What's so difficult about that? Till fragrance billowed from the Chen family's alchemy room. Chen Zhengdao and Ye Qingxue, who rushed to the ascending dragon path, arrived to find no one. This person even successfully defeated Yun Tianzhu. That was our Tianji Pavilion Master in his youth. Chen Zhengdao clicked his tongue in amazement. Ye Qingxue was also utterly astonished. Defeating her and Chen Zhengdao was one thing, but he even defeated Yun Tianzhu. Yun Tianzhu ranked among the continent's top 10 super experts on the master's ranking list. Even he was defeated. Where did this challenger, this deity, come from? They inquired through many channels, but ultimately found nothing. Ye Qingxue unexpectedly noticed that a cluster of strange clouds had gathered above the Chen family estate. Strange clouds. Uncle Chen Zhengdao looked up, his face showing shock. It's pill fragrance, high-quality pill fragrance. Someone is refining pills in the Chen family estate. The same person simultaneously came to both their minds, the 3-star soul master. They decisively mounted the giant eagle. Meanwhile, Fang Chen placed the 20 low-grade foundation establishment pills he had refined in one go. Before Chen Siling, take these and sell them. Chen Siling was overjoyed and surprised. The foundation establishment pill was even more attractive than the superior refinement liquid. After all, many people cultivated their entire lives, finally reaching refinement level mime with great difficulty. Only to suffer from the lack of a foundation establishment pill. Now, with one place before them, they would be willing to buy it no matter the cost. Because once they established their foundation, their status would undergo an earth-shattering change. And a full 20 pills, selling one a day would be completely sufficient. To maintain the Chen family's prestige continuously, how should I give you the money? Also, the previous batch of refinement liquid is all sold out. It's time I gave you the money. Chen Siling bent down to get the money. Fang Chen waved his hand. No need for now, just keep it with you for the time being. Feeling he had stayed too long at the Chen residence, he hastily took his leave. Chen Siling, however, felt delighted inside. Her eyes gazed at Fang Chen's departing back. She murmured, so, he trusts me this much. Not long after Fang Chen left, Chen Zhengdao and Ye Qingxue descended on the giant eagle. They made no effort to conceal themselves this time, directly asking where is that 3-star soul master. Chen Siling still answered truthfully, he just left. Chen Zhengdao saw the foundation establishment pills beside her. He immediately stepped forward, picked up a bottle, uncorked it, and sniffed. His pupils contracted slightly. Excellent quality, indeed. It is from the hand of a 3-star soul master. Ye Qingxue was about to go mad, stamping her foot. She said, how can it be such a coincidence? He came right after we left, and left right as we arrived. Who exactly is monitoring him here? The giant eagle beneath her feet twisted its head in pain, revealing its large, watery, innocent eyes. If you're angry, go find that 3-star soul master. I'm just a little bird passing by. Seeing this unbelievably beautiful daughter of the Qingyun Sect Master, looking like she was about to explode with anger, Chen Siling couldn't help but break into a cold sweat for Fang Chen. Fang Chen, oh Fang Chen, you better not be found by this young lady, or she give you a harsh lesson. Chen Zhengdao had also lost his patience. He said, all we can say is, our luck is just too bad. We miss the peerless prodigy, and we miss the 3-star soul master too. I'll watch over this place. You go stand guard at the ascending dragon path. We're bound to catch one of them eventually. Ye Qingxue was filled with regret. If she had stayed here just now, she definitely could have drawn out this 3-star soul master. Therefore, she immediately agreed. The two once again mounted the giant eagle and flew into the sky, leaving Chen Siling with dark lines forming on her forehead, monitoring me right in my face, without even trying to hide it anymore. Fang Chen took advantage of the fact that his spiritual power had solidified after the battle. He quickly swallowed a bottle of supreme-grade refinement liquid and began to sit cross-legged in meditation. A tremor ran through his body. Rich spiritual power overflowed from his skin surface. Impressively, he had reached the 9th level of refinement. Feeling the spiritual power within him, now more than doubled in richness, Fang Chen was confident. He could exchange several rounds with the Foundation establishment. Projection on the 11th level, young Master Fang. Suddenly, the steward's urgent knocking sounded from outside the door. Fang Chen opened the door, puzzled. Looking at the panting steward John, he wrote what happened. Steward John didn't even catch his breath properly. He said the city lord's daughter, Miss Ye Qingxue, has come to visit. Isn't that Liu Ryan's close friend? She went away for advanced studies 3 years ago, suddenly coming to the Liu residence now. She must be looking for Liu Ryan, right? Fang Chen took up his brush and wrote, hasn't Liu Ryan returned yet? Steward Zhang said anxiously, not only has the young miss not returned, the family head and madam, and the other clan members have all gone out to inquire about the Blood Bat Palace. We can only ask you to entertain her. No wonder they sought out Fang Chen. Fang Chen felt a little resistant. Influenced by Liu Ryan, Ye Qingxue also held no favorable impression of him. Whenever they met, she was always cold, never showing a pleasant expression. But there was truly no one else in the Liu residence. He could only brace himself and go to the main hall. Ye Qingxue wore a long, moon-white silk robe. Her flowing immortal sleeves were embroidered with fine gold thread butterflies. Her jet-black blonde hair cascaded smoothly down her back. Her graceful and slender figure, even under the soft long robe, revealed an outline that sparked the imagination. A fair face with a rosy hue, cool yet noble. Seeing Fang Chen arrive, she showed a look of unfamiliarity. You are. After all, she rarely saw Fang Chen, and she had been away for 3 years. Fang Chen's appearance had changed somewhat. He quickly wrote, seeing his action of picking up the brush. Ye Qingxue suddenly understood no need to write. Although they met rarely, the name Fang Chen had reached her ears countless times. Almost every time they met, Liu Ryan would complain about Fang Chen. Complain about him being mute, complain about him lacking a spiritual root, complain about him shamelessly wanting to marry her. Ye Qingxue's ears were almost calloused from hearing it. Towards this person she had never interacted with, she had already formed a preconceived negative impression. Fang Chen quickly finished writing a line. Liu Ryan is at the ascending dragon path. Uncle Liu and Aunt Liu are also busy outside. I'll have someone brew tea for you. So Liu Ryan isn't home. Ye Qingxue was disappointed. She stood up. No need to trouble yourself. When Liu Ryan returns, tell her to find me at the city lord's mansion. I want to ask her for help. Fang Chen nodded, letting out a slight sigh of relief. He also didn't know how to entertain Liu Ryan's best friend. Being overly enthusiastic didn't seem quite right either. Steward Zhang suddenly ran back in a panic, a gash on his forehead, bleeding profusely. Family head Chen brought his clansmen and barged into our house. They're grabbing anything they see. Quick, go take a look. Fang Chen was startled. Family head Qin's arrival this time was undoubtedly to demand the 300.00 taels of silver owed by Liu Zhang, but if he wanted money, just ask for money. He grabbed the wooden sword from the table, cupped his hands towards Ye Qingxue, and immediately rushed towards the front courtyard. Ye Qingxue shook her head slightly. Seems Liu Ryan was right. This Fang Chen is not only mute, but also a blockhead, not bright at all. The Qin family came with their entire clan. What can he, a person with no cultivation, do by rushing over, offer himself up? The most urgent task now is to quickly notify the Liu family members to return. He could ask me for help too. She reluctantly moved her lotus steps. Fine. I'll help Liu Ryan just this once. The Qin family's young master snatched a 3-year-old Liu family child from the hands of an old maidservant. Ignoring the child's terrified struggling and crying, he held him by one foot, dangling him upside down in midair. He said with disgust, lowly spawn of the Liu family, all cut from the same cloth. Just looking at them is annoying. He casually tossed the child towards a corner. It happened to be where the servants boiled water. The old maidservant and other maids shrieked in terror, diving forward to try and catch him, but because they were too far away. It was already too late. When Fang Chen arrived, he happened to see this scene. His pupils instantly contracted sharply. Without thinking, his legs pushed off, and he charged forward like lightning. Seeing he still wouldn't make it in time, he threw the wooden sword in his hand. The wooden sword accurately pierced the child's hooded cloak, carrying the child, clothes and all, flying far away, narrowly avoiding the pot of boiling water below. He rushed forward to check, confirming the child was unharmed. He couldn't help but pull out the wooden sword and stare coldly at the Qin Master. He wrote, "You won't even spare a child. Are your Qin family all beasts?" Seemingly aware that he had almost caused a death, young Master Qin felt a pang of guilt. But upon recognizing it was Fang Chen, he became annoyed again. "My father was humiliated by you several times. Today, I'm looking for you." Several Qin family members immediately gathered around Ye Qingxue, who had arrived at the front courtyard, had intended to stop the Qin family's atrocity. But seeing the sword Fang Chen had just thrown, was that throw a coincidence? She wasn't sure. To pierce the falling child's hood without harming a single hair, wasn't that something only a master swordsman could do? But Fang Chen was clearly someone without any cultivation. Could it be she had misunderstood Fang Chen before? She, who had intended to reveal herself, took another step back, hiding behind the door, silently observing Fang Chen. "I alone am enough to take care of him," a Qin family youth at the 3rd level of refinement waved the large saber in his hand, shouting as he charged forward. Wait! Before young Master Qin could warn him, Fang Chen lunged forward, casually punching the man in the abdomen, instantly shattering several of his ribs. Ye Qingxue, hiding behind the door, had a look of astonishment. Didn't Liu Ryan say? Then what was that punch just now? What shocked her even more was family head Qin's next words: "Did you get kicked in the head by a donkey?" He defeated Lu Zhang. His cultivation is at least refinement level 6. Several Qin family members swarmed forward together. Some at refinement level 5, some at refinement level 6. Relying on their superior numbers, they surprisingly failed to gain any advantage. In a few swift moves, Fang Chen knocked them all to the ground. Every single one suffered injuries of varying degrees, lying on the ground groaning endlessly. Young Master Qin was startled. "You broke through again," Fang Chen wrote coldly. "Why don't you try and find out?" He leapt forward, his right fist aiming straight for the face. Young Master Qin snapped angrily, "As if I'm afraid of you." He erupted with the power of the 7th level of refinement. His 2 fists struck out like twin dragons emerging from the sea. The moment they made contact, young Master Qin felt an overwhelming, crushing force slam into him. He was sent flying backward by the punch. Qin Changsheng, who was scavenging elsewhere, arrived just in time to catch his son. He said, "You dare even hit my son?" Seeing his son's mouth full of blood, family head Qin was enraged. Fang Chen wrote coldly, "Smashing and looting in the Liu residence, and you blame others for injuring your son. You truly are as shameless as ever." Qin Changsheng said, "Righteously paying debts is only natural. Your Liu family is about to have everything confiscated. I'm just taking the opportunity to reclaim some assets to offset the debt." Fang Chen didn't waste words. He took out 300 taels worth of silver notes and threw them on the ground. He wrote, "Money. I'll pay it back for the Liu family, but you attacked within the Liu residence. None of you will leave unharmed." Seeing the silver notes, Qin Changsheng breathed a sigh of relief. But regarding Fang Chen's words, he scoffed, "Who do you think you are? My Qin family comes and goes as we please." Saying this, he picked up the silver notes. With a wave of his hand, "Let's go." The Qin family members gathered grandly to leave. Fang Chen remained expressionless. He raised his wooden sword and charged into the midst of the Qin clansmen. Seeing him alone, daring to oppose so many Qin family members, Qin Changsheng flew into a rage out of humiliation. This is completely disregarding the Qin family. Even an elephant fears a swarm of ants, let alone a mere Fang Chen. Each of his Qin clansmen spitting once could drown him. Fang Chen was fearless. The wooden sword instantly flashed out, solitary star points to the firmament. 3 stars illuminate the moon. Each strike was mightier than the last. Though it was a wooden sword, it still drew lines of blood. One miserable cry after another came from among the Qin family members, echoing throughout the entire courtyard. Fang Chen was like a tiger among sheep. With each stab, he felled a person, in just over 10 breaths. More than half of the Qin family members were down. Qin Chongsheng was both shocked and furious little bastard. He unleashed the power of the peak chair refinement level 8 realm. Parting his clansmen, he charged forward rapidly. In his hand, he wielded an iron sword. Slashing fiercely, in just one exchange, Fang Chen flicked his iron sword away and slashed his chest open with a single stroke. Blood instantly spurted out. The family head is injured. Quick, retreat. The Qin family members panicked. They hastily carried Qin Chongsheng and fled. Fang Chen, however, pursued them relentlessly, chasing them all the way out of the Liu estate, ensuring not a single Qin family member escaped unscathed. Seeing his clansmen in such a sorry state, Qin Chongsheng's eyes rolled back in anger. Fang Chen, my Qin family's old ancestor, a 1-star soul master, is returning soon. A true soul master, in any city, is a superior existence, even the city lord of Guzhou City. Upon meeting a 1-star soul master, must bow in reverence. It will surely change the landscape, and blood will flow like rivers. Fang Chen shrugged indifferently. He instructed the maids and servants to clean up the mess. Those who previously looked down on Fang Chen now each held him in such awe they didn't dare breathe loudly. All obediently followed his instructions. Fang Chen, single-handedly, battled the entire Qin family. How invincible was this? How peerless! Ye Qingxue, hidden behind the door, also walked out. Her eyes shining brightly, as if she had discovered a treasure. She exclaimed in admiration, young Master Fang, you truly are deeply hidden. Fang Chen had only displayed the 8th level of chair refinement just now. He had also held back the most powerful form of his sword art. He hadn't even used his full strength yet. He calmly wrote, you praise me too much. I still need to clean up. Miss Yi, please make yourself comfortable. He then went to help the servants tidy the scene. Ye Qingxue felt a little displeased. She, the dignified daughter of the city lord, spoke to him, and he gave her the cold shoulder. Could it be that just because he has some ability, he's getting cocky? It's necessary to let Fang Chen know what humility and low profile mean. I see your sword technique seems somewhat lacking. I studied under a master swordsman. Fang Chen pondered slightly, then readily agreed. Ye Qingxue's aptitude was no worse than Liu Ryan's, and she had studied abroad. Her skills should be strong. She was an opponent worth going all out against. He drew his wooden sword and made a gesture of invitation. Ye Qingxue was secretly pleased. Stinky brat, let's see how I teach you a lesson. She drew a green sword and executed a dazzling sword technique, simultaneously revealing her cultivation at the 9th level of chair refinement. Fang Chen immediately became serious, not daring to hide his strength. He instantly erupted with chair refinement level 9 cultivation as well. At the same time, he unceremoniously executed his strongest sword move. 7 stars face north. The two swords met. Ye Qingxue instantly felt an incomparably powerful sword move. The sword in her hand flew directly out of her grasp. Fang Chen's sword edge easily broke through her chest defense. Resting against her throat, Ye Qingxue was dumbfounded. I wasn't ready just now. Let's go again. Ye Qingxue said sheepishly. She couldn't possibly have lost so quickly. With talent rivaling Liu Ryan, returning after 3 years of apprenticeship, defeated in one move by the Liu family's little mute, no one would believe it if word got out. It must be that she was too careless and fell into Fang Chen's trap. Fang Chen immediately nodded. He also felt Ye Qingxue had been defeated too quickly. She seemed even weaker than that peak chair refinement level 8 projection named Liu Qingxuan. She probably hadn't used her full strength. Ye Qingxue, determined to redeem herself, focused completely. Be careful. Chasing star sword art. Her wrist flipped. The sword technique dazzling, its power more than double that of before. Fang Chen also attacked with full force. 7 stars face north. Clack, the two swords met. The familiar feeling returned once more. Ye Qingxue failed to hold on to her sword again. The long sword flew from her hand. The wooden sword rested beneath her throat. Ye Qingxue's cheeks flushed red at a visible speed. If she could claim carelessness before, this time it wasn't the case, right? The result was obvious. Fang Chen's strength was far above hers. Thinking about how she had presumptuously offered to guide him, She wished she could find a hole to crawl into. A little shrimp defeated in one move. Offering guidance to a master whose swordsmanship far surpassed her own, it couldn't get more embarrassing than this. Fang Chen also gradually understood that this was Ye Qingxue's true strength. He also sensed Ye Qingxue's embarrassment. Sheathing his sword, he wrote, "I am a man." Having said that, he silently went back to help the servants tidy up. Hearing the excuse Fang Chen found for her, Ye Qingxue felt an inexplicable warmth in her heart. Recalling the scene of Fang Chen bravely saving the Liu family child, looking at his back, she felt more and more that he differed from Liu Ryan's description. He's clearly a very kind and considerate person. Why does Liu Ryan always speak ill of him? Her impression of Fang Chen had undergone a 180-degree change. The real Fang Chen was a deeply hidden, top-tier master among his peers. He was definitely one of the top prodigy kings in Guizhou City. His character wasn't bad either. She remembered her purpose for seeking Liu Ryan this time. She said, "Young Master Fang, the remnants of the Blood Bat Palace are causing trouble. I also want to share my father's worries, so I plan to form a shadow guard team to deal with the Blood Bat Palace remnants whenever they appear." As soon as these words were spoken, Fang Chen's interest was piqued to assassinate the Blood Bat Palace branch master. He needed to know the movements of the Blood Bat Palace remnants. If he couldn't find the branch master, what could he do? And the city lord's mansion obviously had better means of gathering intelligence on the Blood Bat Palace than an individual. Seeing Fang Chen remain silent, Ye Qingxue thought he was weighing the pros and cons. "I won't let you help for free. As long as you achieve merits, you can come to my city lord's mansion's library to select books." Fang Chen was tempted. Although he had to high yellow rank offensive and cultivation methods, he lacked knowledge in other areas, and the city lord's mansion definitely had the most abundant collection of books in Guizhou City. He nodded. "All right." Ye Qingxue was overjoyed. She said, "You are the first shadow guard I've recruited. Let's call you Shadow Guard number 1. Dealing with Blood Bat Palace remnants makes it easy to become a target for their revenge, so wear this mask when you take action." She took out a gray mask she had prepared beforehand. The mask only revealed the facial features and was engraved with the number 1. This was Shadow Guard number 1. "Your identity as Shadow Guard number 1. Only I know. I will absolutely not tell anyone." Ye Qingxue added. Fang Chen felt more relieved. He put away the mask. Taking up the brush, he wrote, "What exactly does a Shadow Guard do?" Ye Qingxue replied, "Nothing. Usually, if remnants of the Blood Bat Palace are discovered, a signal flare will rise into the sky. You just need to arrive promptly. That's even better. Patrolling according to a fixed routine would delay cultivation too much. My shadow guards only recruit heaven's chosen. The higher the rank, the greater the strength. You are the shadow guard I favor most. Next is Liu Ryan, since you are shadow guard number 1. This mask for shadow guard number 2, please deliver it to her from me. The two of you should come to the city lord manor tomorrow, because I will be recruiting a few more shadow guards. I'll gather you all together and provide some resource support." Fang Chen nodded. He accepted the mask for shadow guard number 2. Only then did Ye Qingxue leave, satisfied. Almost as soon as her front foot left, Liu Ryan and Liu Ruxu's back feet arrived, supporting each other, returning utterly exhausted. "When did you run back?" Liu Ryan slumped onto the stone table, gulping down several cups of tea. She didn't forget to chai. Such a great opportunity on the Dragon Ascension path. And you didn't even cherish it properly. Fang Chen paused, stunned. How did I not cherish it? He wrote, "I challenged until I could challenge no further." That the next stage was the Foundation Establishment realm. With my cultivation at the peak 8th level of Che condensation back then, ascending further would have been extremely difficult. Liu Ryan couldn't help but face adversity head-on. Liu Ruxu also couldn't resist joining the reproach. Yes, wasn't sister stuck at the 8th level for a long time too, but through repeated trials and tempering, she gradually grew stronger, and finally succeeded in breaking through. How long were you even up there? Before your shadow vanished, Fang Chen rubbed his nose. It's because my strength was too great, and I quickly completed the challenges appropriate for my realm. But there was no need to tell them this. He took out the number to Shadow Guard mask and handed it to Liu Ryan. He wrote, "Miss Ye Qingxue was here. She asked me to give this to you. She's really forming it. She planned this 3 years ago. She even said she'd definitely invite me to be Shadow Guard number 1. Liu Ryan took it happily. But when she saw the 2 carved on the forehead, why am I number to Shadow Guard? Who did she give number 1 to? Could there be a prodigy in the city even more talented than me? She looked at it again and again, incessantly, her face full of disbelief. Tomorrow, when we meet with all the Shadow Guards. Her phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. Goat. On what basis does that number 1 rank ahead of me? Is it necessary to be so competitive? He shrugged. He turned back, preparing to continue cultivating. Liu Ryan watched him about to leave, her lips move. Finally, encouraged by Liu Ruxu, she said, Fang Chen. Could I borrow some money from you? I heard the Chen family has released a new pill, called the Mansion Opening Pill. It's for foundation establishment. Only one is auctioned each day. The price will definitely be exorbitant, so Fang Chen, without even thinking, directly raised his brush. No, such a blunt refusal made Liu Ryan's face burn. Her lips pressed tightly together. Liu Ruxu couldn't help but plead. Little Chen, sister wants to break through to the foundation establishment realm before the Qingyun sect elder arrives. So the elder will think highly of her. Please help her. Fang Chen still didn't hesitate in the slightest. He directly pulled out all his silver notes from his robes. He wrote, how much do you need? It was the same act of borrowing money. But the treatment the two received was like heaven and earth. This made Liu Ryan, who had succeeded in borrowing, not happy at all. Could it be that in Fang Chen's heart, I'm so much less important than Liu Ruxu? Stubbornly proud, she reached deep into her collar and pulled out a thumb-sized jade pearl, still warm. Liu Ryan bit her red lip and handed it to Fang Chen. I won't borrow your money for nothing. Fang Chen took it, puzzled, feeling the warmth on its surface. He couldn't help glancing at Liu Ryan's full chest, then quickly averted his gaze, pretending nonchalance. He wrote, what is this? Liu Ryan stared at the jade pearl, her eyes full of reluctance. When I was born, an expert passed by the Liu residence. Seeing my exceptional skeletal structure, he said a cultivation technique was hidden inside. Unfortunately, we've never been able to unlock it. Now, I'll leave it with you as collateral. When I repay you, return it to me. You absolutely must not lose it. Oh. Fang Chen had indeed heard the maids mention this. They said 18 years ago, when Liu Ryan was born, a rainbow arched over the delivery room. The stunning phenomenon attracted the attention of a passing expert. After descending to investigate, he found Liu Ryan's talent to be extraordinary. Believing it was fate, he gifted a treasure as a meeting present. Liu Ryan had given it to him as collateral. Fang Chen tried to return it. He wrote, this item is too valuable to you. If I lost it, I couldn't bear the responsibility. Collateral isn't necessary, but Liu Ryan insisted forcefully. The proud do not accept charity given with disdain. Don't think I'll owe you a favor. From the stack of silver notes, she picked out 2 million. She said, I will definitely repay you in the future. After speaking, she left in a huff. Fang Chen looked bewildered. How did I offend her? Liu Ruxu gazed at her sisters retreating back and sighed softly. It's not that you offended her, it's that she's starting to care about you. This was also what worried Liu Ruxu. Fang Chen's performance was becoming increasingly outstanding. Would her sister still, as before, dislike Fang Chen? If one day she fell for Fang Chen, where would that leave her? This marriage agreement actually belonged to her sister. Someone like her, who only thinks of herself. How could she care about me? Fang Chen shook his head, seeing no one around. He took out another batch of peak-grade check condensation liquid and stuffed it into her hands. Use it quickly. This time, Liu Ruxu didn't refuse. The Bloodbat Palace remnants weighed like a mountain on all Liu family members. This was something they urgently needed. After seeing Liu Ruxu off, Fang Chen also returned to his own room. He examined it curiously, looking closely. Apart from its excellent quality, being carved from top-grade jadeite jade, there was nothing special about it, since that expert gifted it. It made no sense for him to give an ordinary jade pearl. He tried heating it with a candle flame, then soaked it in water, and even tried steeping it in check condensation liquid. All the unlocking methods he'd heard about in various strange tales. He tried them one by one. Unfortunately, the jade pearl remained unchanged. It really was just an ordinary jade pearl. Annoy. Fang Chen hung it close against his chest. Such a precious item, if he lost it, Liu Ryan would probably hunt him down with a sword. It was a hot potato. Fang Chen lay on the bed, gently patting his chest, but as his palm patted lightly, a faint force landed on the jade pearl, and unexpectedly, a faint trace of soul power emanated from within the jade pearl. Such weak soul power, an ordinary person wouldn't sense it at all. But Fang Chen felt a jolt, sprang up with a carp jump, and snatched out the jade pearl. Soul power. Could it be like the Tai soul technique, that it required soul power to unlock? Fang Chen's mouth instantly went dry. He swallowed hard. Carefully, he released a wisp of soul power and probed into the jade pearl. The jade pearl reacted. It emitted a strong beam of emerald green light. It projected into the mid-air, actually forming floating text. Zhuan rank high-grade movement technique Lone Gu skimming shadows. Fang Chen was utterly shocked. It was actually a Zhuan rank high-grade cultivation technique. And furthermore, among cultivation techniques, it was a movement technique, rare as phoenix feathers. Compared to other cultivation techniques, movement techniques were the scarcest. Searching throughout Lone Boat City, there wasn't a single movement technique manual. Not even an unranked one. The Lone Gu skimming shadows before him was not only a movement technique, but also Zhuan rank high grade. That expert truly hadn't deceived the Liu family. He really had left Liu Ryan a cultivation technique, and an extremely high-end one at that. He immediately memorized the technique's contents with soaring spirits. Only, when he reached the end, did he discover a message left by the expert. There are some things left there. I hope they will be useful to you. Fang Chen paused. This must be another opportunity the expert left for Liu Ryan. This address, if I recall correctly, isn't it the Bloodbath Palace branch location? A trace of astonishment and suspicion appeared on his face. Never mind that for now, let's try cultivating this movement technique. Fang Chen couldn't wait. Lone Gu skimming shadows was divided into 3 levels: upper, middle, and lower. Mastering the first level allowed one to walk on waves, scale walls and rooftops as if walking on level ground. Mastering the second level allowed one to pass through a dense forest without disturbing a leaf, and slide 100 zhong in a single step. Mastering the third level allowed one to form wings of spiritual chat. Just reading the description made Fang Chen's blood boil with excitement. The technique also clearly stated, this is Zhuan rank high grade, and the most difficult type of movement technique to cultivate. Mastering the first level, even with diligent practice, requires a year. One must guard against arrogance and impatience. Fang Chen immediately began to carefully comprehend it. He couldn't help but think the first level doesn't seem too difficult. Due to the baptism of that green spiritual light, up until now, all cultivation techniques, reputed to be highly difficult, posed no difficulty for him. Fang Chen, within his cramped room, moved at an incredibly fast speed, leaping and running back and forth between the walls, ceiling, and floor. A casual step could cover several zhong. He feared he might crash from one end of the room into the wall at the other end. He was drenched in sweat from exhaustion, yet his eyes were filled with excitement. This is just initial mastery, and it already grasps such speed. If I reach full mastery, won't I be light as a goose feather, and swift as the wind? Experiencing the brand new sensation brought by the movement technique, Fang Chen was exceptionally satisfied. He wanted to continue practicing, but it was time to head to the City Lord Manor for the meeting. He made his way to the front of the City Lord Manor. He found a quiet alley, put on the number 1 mask, and using his movement technique, easily vaulted over the 10 zhong high wall. In the right courtyard of the City Lord Manor, 9 shadow guards stood. Ye Qingxue stared towards the courtyard entrance, frowning slightly. Shadow guards number 2 through 9 had all arrived. Only Fang Chen, the number 1 shadow guard, hadn't come. Liu Ryan was already full of dissatisfaction. She said, "What airs he puts on, making so many of us wait for him alone. Does he really think he's some paramount prodigy?" The other 8 shadow guards also murmured their discontent. All were dragons among men in Lone Boat City, handpicked by Ye Qingxue, who would be willing to be subordinate. Ye Qingxue could only appease them, saying, Please be patient. I've already ordered someone to wait at the manor gate. A servant will inform me immediately." As she was speaking, Ye Qingxue casually glanced beside Liu Ryan, and her pupils contracted sharply. Because, at some unknown time, next to Liu Ryan, a person was standing there silently, noticing the change in Ye Qingxue's gaze. The others looked over too, and were all thoroughly startled. Especially Liu Ryan, who was mere feet away. Someone had suddenly appeared beside her like a ghost, making her heart jump violently when she saw the other person's mask clearly, and the one engraved upon it. Her heart was still pounding wildly. If this person were an enemy, I'm afraid I'd already be a corpse. When did he arrive, and how did he approach so silently that even I, standing so close, didn't notice? He must have cultivated some mysterious secret technique. This deeply shocked the several shadow guards, causing those who had intended to challenge him to dismiss the thought. No wonder he could be shadow guard number 1. Such unfathomable movements, at least I would find it hard to defend against. One has to admire Ye Qingxue's judgment. Hearing their compliments, Liu Ryan grew even more defiant, and felt ashamed of her poor reaction just now. Staring at Fang Chen's mask, she said, "Dealing with the Bloodbat Palace remnants requires sufficient strength. A way of assassination might not necessarily be of great use." This remark also garnered agreement from some of the more experienced shadow guards. It relies on striking from the shadows while the enemy is in the open. Only then can one concentrate all power into a single strike, achieving a one-hit kill. But the Bloodbat Palace remnants are operating in secret. Their movements are unpredictable. They simply won't leave us an opportunity for assassination. Dealing with the Bloodbat Palace still relies on hard power. Fang Chen glanced at Liu Ryan's mask. He could imagine Liu Ryan's competitive expression right now. Finally, "I don't have to write, I can speak freely. My way is the way of assassination." Liu Ryan snorted through her nose. "Whether it is or not, we'll find out when it comes to a real confrontation." The other shadow guards showed no particular surprise. The two were just verbally sparring. Ye Qingxue, however, was so shocked her jaw dropped. Fang Chen can speak. He's not mute. Ye Qingxue was filled with immense curiosity about Fang Chen. Why did he pretend to be mute? Why did he pretend to be trash? Why did he endure grievances in the Liu family? All sorts of questions caused her to fall into a daze for a moment, until Liu Ryan reminded her impatiently, "Miss Yi, why did you summon us?" Only then did Ye Qingxue snap back to reality. Smiling, she clapped her hands. Several guards came carrying various weapons and low-grade check condensation liquid. Here are various types of weapons, all forged from Zhuan iron. They are both hard and sharp. And these are bottles of low-grade check condensation liquid. Each person may take 10 bottles. Hearing this, the shadow guard's eyes lit up. Never mind the low-grade check condensation liquid. Those weapons were all top-tier items, specially crafted by the City Lord Manor. Their quality surpassed those made by ordinary blacksmiths. Liu Ryan felt a surge of joy. The check condensation liquid held little allure for her anymore, but a fine treasured sword was exactly what she lacked. The science sword in her hand was far inferior to the divine weapons before her. Her gaze swept over them, settling on an azure Zhuan iron sword, while the others were still grabbing the check condensation liquid. She ran over happily. However, she had barely taken 2 steps when a strong gust of wind blew past her. The blue longsword she had her eye on was grasped in the palm of shadow guard number 1. Fang Chen waited. Liu Ryan said angrily, "I saw it first." Fang Chen replied without turning his head, "I saw all the weapons first. Does that mean they're all mine?" Knowing she was in the wrong, Liu Ryan fell silent. Fang Chen looked around some more and found a black sword. It felt heavier when picked up, but for the sweeping movements of the 7-star sword art, it was undoubtedly more suitable. He backhanded the large black sword into the sheath on his back. As for the blue longsword in his hand, he tossed it to Liu Ryan. "Forget it." But Liu Ryan bit her lip tightly and pushed it away. "I don't want it." She was in a terrible mood. Yesterday, she was given charity by Fang Chen. Today, she was being given charity by this number 1 shadow guard. This was outrageous. Why are the men of Lone Boat City all the same? Fang Chen looked speechless. Dealing with the Bloodbat Palace remnants is very dangerous. That sword in your hand might not be up to the task. This only made Liu Ryan angrier. She said, "None of your business, what stubbornness." Fang Chen couldn't be bothered with her anymore. The black sword felt increasingly natural in his hand. The only pity was that, unlike the wooden sword, it couldn't deliver an unexpected lightning strike effect. The group finished selecting their weapons and check condensation liquid. Ye Qingxue then briefed them on the situation regarding the remnants. According to our latest intelligence, although this group of remnants escaped the Qingyun sect's encirclement, they fled in haste and lack various resources. It's highly likely they have infiltrated Lone Boat City to plunder resources. Everyone instantly became alert. Bloodbath Palace remnants have infiltrated Lone Boat City. Ye Qingxue added, "No need to panic. Those who infiltrated should only be protectors and members. Their branch master likely wouldn't dare take the risk to come here." Only then did everyone breathe a sigh of relief. Facing protectors at the 9th level of check condensation, they still had a fighting chance. But if they encountered the branch master at the 2nd level of foundation establishment, it would be like sheep walking into a tiger's den. After Ye Qingxue finished her brief analysis of the latest intelligence, she dismissed them, saying, "Keep an eye on the city yourselves, just watch for the signal." Her voice had barely faded when a firework rocket shot into the clouds with a sharp screech and exploded, releasing a large amount of dark crimson smoke that lingered in the sky without dispersing. Ye Qingxue froze. The shadow guards were also stunned. For a moment, they all wondered if this was just a coincidence. They had just gathered, and signs of the Bloodbath Palace had already appeared. Fang Chen was the first to react, executing his movement technique. He rushed out of the side courtyard like a whirlwind. Liu Ryan reacted immediately after. Grabbing her science sword, she gave chase, but just as she exited the courtyard, Fang Chen's figure was already gone. This fueled her competitive spirit even more. Who is truly superior? The battlefield will reveal the truth. The remaining shadow guards gradually realized this wasn't a joke. Bloodbath Palace remnants had truly appeared, one after another. They headed towards the direction of the smoke signal. Ye Qingxue dared not delay, and also hurried after them. Fang Chen sped across rooftop after rooftop, moving like a fierce wind. In less than half an incense stick's time, he successfully crossed half the city district. Arriving at the location where the smoke signal was launched, standing on the roof ridge, he looked down. This place was where the city Lord Manor's official weaponsmiths forged armaments. Several bodies of the government cavalry lay on the ground. It was they who had issued the warning before dying. Several Bloodbath Palace members were hastily moving various weapons and refining materials. The reason Fang Chen was certain they were from the Bloodbath Palace was that one of the members was one of the 3 who attempted to kidnap Liu Ruxu at Lianyan Mountain that day. One of the Bloodbath Palace members was extremely perceptive. He suddenly looked up and shouted, "Who's there?" He looked to be around 60. His eyes were exceptionally sharp, giving off an unusual aura. The other 4 Bloodbath Palace members also spotted Fang Chen, the one who had escaped from Fang Chen's hands previously. Recognized him even more clearly, Sim, the kid who killed 2 of our subordinates. He and the other 3 Bloodbath Palace members immediately climbed onto the roof ridge. There was no need for pointless talk upon meeting. Fang Chen didn't waste a word. Before they could even get a firm footing, he seized the initiative. With a sweep of his black sword, he instantly slit the throat of the one who had gotten away before. Blood sprayed as the body fell from the roof. That as soon as the sword struck, Fang Chen immediately sensed danger. Among the other 3 Bloodbath Palace members, there was actually a protector at the 9th level of check condensation. He was experienced and shrewd, taking advantage of the moment Fang Chen completed his sword strike. A short blade stabbed viciously towards his ribs from an angle. Fortunately, Fang Chen had just cultivated his movement technique. Stomping his foot on the spot, his entire body performed a backward flip. The short blade grazed past his scalp. The remaining 2 Bloodbath Palace members were both at the 8th level of check condensation. Their attacks were also exceptionally ruthless. They immediately charged from the front and back, slashing with their sabers, intending to cut Fang Chen down in midair. Fang Chen felt immense pressure. Though also at the 8th level of check condensation, these Bloodbath Palace members were far stronger than the projections on the Dragon Ascension path. Every move was lethal. and their killing techniques were incredibly skilled. He dared not hold back any longer. With a twist of his wrist, he instantly executed a lone star pointing to the firmament. The black iron sword drew an arc of sword che in the air, knocking back the two sabers. His attack, however, didn't pause in the slightest before his feet even touched the ground. He locked onto 1/8 level che condensation member and thrust forward with 3 stars, reflecting the moon. The latter was greatly alarmed. He immediately raised his saber with both arms, using the back of the blade to block the sword strike. Clang, the two metals collided, scraping sparks, but he had clearly underestimated Fang Chen's cultivation level, and even more so, his sword technique. Crack! After a brief stalemate, the back of his opponent's saber was severed. The black iron sword slashed into his collarbone. The intense pain caused the man to cry out. The protector, wielding the short blade, stabbed fiercely at Fang Chen's back. Fang Chen gripped the sword hilt with both hands. The black iron sword slid down along the collarbone, slashing diagonally downwards, shaving off half of the man's chest. Without time to regard the outcome, he used the momentum of this strike to turn and thrust his sword back, coincidentally meeting the protector's incoming short blade. The two weapons clashed. At this critical moment, Fang Chen let out a low shout, 7 stars facing north. His 9th level che condensation spiritual power all surged into the black iron sword. Unleashing his strongest attack, the powerful sword che instantly made the protector's hand holding the blade go numb. The short blade flew from his grasp, impossible to hold. Seizing this perfect opportunity, Fang Chen swept his sword horizontally. The protector's face turned pale with fright. He hastily retracted his hand, but it was too late. This astonishing sword strike directly severed his fingers and continued across his chest, leaving a long, bloody line. This impossible. The protector looked down at the bloodline on his chest. His eyes filled with disbelief as he slowly collapsed to the ground. The sole remaining 8th level che condensation member, instead, surged with ferocity. Wielding his saber, he charged forward. Fighting with the mentality of mutual destruction, Liu Ryan finally arrived. Seeing the two corpses on the roof, and the one on the ground, Fang Chen had already killed 3 people. She quickly scanned the area, spotting another Bloodbat Palace remnant, appearing to be in his 60s. Hastily moving weapons, her eyes turned sharp. Raising her science sword, she charged Bloodbat Palace remnant. Fang Chen, still entangled in combat, saw this, and his expression changed drastically. He's not an ordinary remnant. Although it was just a glance, he could feel the pressure this old man exuded was no less than the short blade protector. How could Liu Ryan listen now? Fang Chen had seized the initiative. Taking 3 kills, she was already lagging behind. Finally, one was left. If she couldn't even kill this one, what face would she have left? Liu Ryan let out a low cry, thrusting her sword towards the old man. Only then did the old man notice. He had just gone inside to move one batch of items, and his men had been killed off almost entirely. He couldn't help but become furious. Seeing Liu Ryan thrusting towards him, he was naturally filled with rage. He roared, courting death. His body trembled. Terrifying spiritual power surged out. Before Liu Ryan's sword even arrived, she was sent flying by the pouncing spiritual power. Liu Ryan cried out in alarm. Immediately, she realized who was before her. She stammered in terror, the Bloodbat Palace branch master. He was actually so incredibly audacious as to infiltrate Lone Boat City. A few brats dared to slaughter my Bloodbat Palace elites. The branch master was enraged beyond measure. Howling, he rushed towards Liu Ryan. Fang Chen, on the rooftop, knew that, with Liu Ryan's strength, she would likely be killed instantly in a single exchange. He was anxious, seeing the 8th level member still posturing, continuing to pester him relentlessly. He suddenly executed his movement technique, pulling distance between them. Then he decisively executed 7 stars facing north. A chilling glint of sword light swept across his throat. Fang Chen didn't even wait to see the result. Immediately leaping off the wall several jawn high, the branch master had already closed in on Liu Ryan. Liu Ryan's heart pounded wildly. A suffocating pressure washed over her, filling her with despair. She swung her sword with all her might, attempting to force him back, but her sword technique couldn't even break through the spiritual power radiating from him. The branch master roared angrily, clawing towards her throat. This claw strike was both fast and vicious, enough to snap Liu Ryan's neck. Liu Ryan's face turned deathly pale, her breath catching in terror, as if she could already feel the cold embrace of death. She instinctively closed her eyes, clang, but the expected pain didn't come. Instead, the sound of a collision rang out. It was Fang Chen, blocking the attack in front of her. Using the black iron sword to resist the blow, Fang Chen let out a low grunt. Facing the power of a second-level foundation establishment cultivator, Fang Chen felt a suffocating pressure. Liu Ryan stared blankly for a moment, then reacted, "None of you will escape." The branch master roared furiously, his flesh and blood claws actually squeezed cracks into the black iron sword. Fang Chen's expression changed dramatically, but in his desperation, he had a flash of insight. Instead of retreating, he fiercely poured powerful spiritual energy into the black iron sword. Pushing forward with all his might, the consequence was that the black iron sword could not withstand the pressure from both sides, crack amidst a loud shattering sound. The body of the black iron sword broke into countless fragments, scattering towards both sides. One sharp fragment shot towards Fang Chen's face. The material of the metal mass was extraordinary, leaving only a mark, but the branch master wasn't so lucky. A thumb-sized fragment shot fiercely into his forehead, instantly embedding itself. The branch master let out a pained hiss of breath. This couldn't cause him substantial harm, but Fang Chen decisively flicked his sleeve, sending the fragments scatter in midair, shooting straight towards the branch master, who was mere feet away. Most fragments missed, but one fingernail-sized iron shard pierced into his right eye. Blood spurted from his right eye like a fountain. The branch master let out a furious roar. Using his remaining left eye, he glared fiercely at Fang Chen and leapt towards him. Fang Chen became highly vigilant. A branch master driven into a frenzy, he dared not face him head-on. He immediately executed his movement technique to retreat. The branch master pursued with terrifying killing intent, his speed surprisingly not much slower than Fang Chen's. The most troublesome part was, Fang Chen hadn't run far when he saw Liu Ryan, who hadn't gotten far due to her injury. He cursed inwardly. What a hassle! Amidst her cry of surprise, he wrapped an arm around her slender waist from behind, carrying her along as he fled. Liu Ryan turned her head with a gasp, seeing Shadow Guard number 1 holding her in his arms. Their body heat could be clearly felt through their clothes. Her pretty face instantly flushed crimson. Then, looking back at the blood-covered, blinded branch master, she was even more astonished. He blinded the branch master. Liu Ryan sucked in a cold breath. Just how strong is this man? Having personally experienced the branch master's power, she knew his strength very well. In front of him, she was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. But this man had actually wounded him so badly and managed to retreat. Thinking about how she had constantly challenged his position as Shadow Guard number 1 and provoked him repeatedly, she couldn't help but blush. Their chase didn't last long, because Ye Qingxue arrived with the other Shadow Guards and the City Lord Manor's cavalry as reinforcements. Seeing the situation, the branch master could only retreat into an alley. Filled with hatred, he used his remaining eye to stare venomously at Fang Chen. "I'll remember you." He venomously memorized Fang Chen's mask, then disappeared into the alley. Ye Qingxue came forward. Seeing Liu Ryan held in Fang Chen's arms, a strange expression appeared on her face. If Liu Ryan knew that Shadow Guard number 1 was Fang Chen, I wonder how she would react. Ahem, she cleared her throat lightly. She asked, "The one who just ran off was a Bloodbat Palace member, right? How did the two of you end up being chased by him?" Ye Qingxue's gaze was questioning. "Just some ordinary members. Surely it shouldn't have been such a struggle." If they were truly this weak, Ye Qingxue worried greatly that the Shadow Guards she created would become a laughingstock. Only then did Liu Ryan realize she was still clinging on to Shadow Guard number 1. Her snowy cheeks flushed instantly. She quickly jumped down, explaining, "The one who just fled wasn't an ordinary member." Ye Qingxue was surprised. Could it have been a protector? No wonder he could force you two to flee. It's truly heaven's blessing that you're both unharmed." The shadow guards who had caught up also showed expressions of surprise. A protector's strength was at least 9th level check condensation, and they were rich in combat experience for shadow guards number 1 and 2. To retreat unharmed and even injure their opponent. If it were us, facing a protector, we probably wouldn't even have a chance to escape, let alone injure them. Hearing their misunderstanding, Liu Ryan showed a peculiar expression. She said, "Who said the one who fled was a protector? Shadow guard number 1 already killed a protector." Plus 3 members. Ye Qingxue's eyes widened. She said, in astonishment, "Shadow guard number 1, you actually killed a protector, and 3 members." She quickly realized the key point. Her face showed shock. "Then the one chasing you just now was if Fang Chen could easily kill a protector, how could he be chased by one? The only person capable of chasing them could only be the branch master. It was the branch master." Liu Ryan said with lingering fear, remembering his overwhelming foundation establishment spiritual pressure that her sword techniques couldn't penetrate. She felt waves of suffocation. The branch master. Ye Qingxue's voice trembled. An existence of that level was far beyond what the shadow guards she formed could handle. Her original intention was merely to clear out some ordinary remnants, to share the burden for her father, the city lord. Threats like the branch master were meant to be handled by experts like her father. Yet shadow guard number 1 had actually fought the branch master head-on, and even blinded his right eye. Retreating completely unharmed, she had always felt that ranking Fang Chen as shadow guard number 1 was overestimating him, but now she knew she had underestimated his true strength. The shadow guards were also filled with shock, looking at the invincible figure of the mysterious shadow guard number 1. They couldn't help but tremble. Those who still held dissatisfaction towards him now only felt in their hearts. Ye Qingxue was secretly thrilled. Recruiting Fang Chen into the shadow guards was indeed the wisest decision. "Let's go examine the remnants' corpses," for bodies were carried before everyone. Seeing the terrifying wounds indicating death by a single blow, the group couldn't help but gasp, especially the 8th level check condensation remnant, who was cut in half at the chest. Their perception of Fang Chen's strength was refreshed once again. "I know this person. He's the right protector of the branch. Named Tai Ying Iron Eagle. He's the branch master's most trusted subordinate." One shadow guard recognized him. He exclaimed in shock. His strength is second only to the branch master. He excels at using a short blade. He once killed several 9th level check condensation experts of Lone Boat City. Yet he was slain by shadow guard number 1's blade. As several others examined the bodies, they also exclaimed frequently, "And those 2 8th level check condensation remnants." They were also experts second only to the protectors, the infamous Black Saber duo. Yet they all fell at the hands of shadow guard number 1. And judging from the signs of the fight, the 4 of them besieged shadow guard number 1. They were killed in return. This discovery shocked them once again. To simultaneously face the branch's strongest protector, and to notoriously fierce remnants in a siege, yet manage to kill them all. He clearly has 9th level check condensation strength. So why does he fight with the ferocity of the Foundation establishment realm? Ye Qingxue was overjoyed. She gripped Fang Chen's shoulders. "I'll take you back to the city lord manor right now. I want Dad to see how formidable my shadow guards are." The others carry the bodies back to the city lord manor together. Liu Ryan said, "I won't be going." She gave shadow guard number 1 a deep look. Solemnly, she said, "You won this time. After I break through to Foundation establishment, we will compete again." After speaking, she quickly ran off. The auction for the Chen family's mansion opening pill was about to begin. She had to obtain it, no matter what, and break through to the Foundation establishment realm in one go. Right now, she wasn't even worthy of comparing herself to shadow guard number 1. Qingxue formed a team of shadow guards, specifically to eliminate Bloodbath Palace remnants. Listening to the housekeeper's report, Ye Jifeng was furious. "Isn't this utter nonsense? The remnants who could escape the Qingyun sect's encirclement. Which one isn't a ferocious expert? Letting a group of youngsters with no combat experience face them, isn't that just asking for death? Get her back here immediately." Ye Qingxue ran in, looking delighted, bringing Fang Chen with her. "Dad, good news. Ye Qingxue was looking for her anyway. He immediately started scolding her harshly. Nonsense. Who allowed you to form some shadow guard team? Disband it from me. When he noticed Fang Chen beside her, and the mask with one engraved on it, he felt it was even more absurd. Ye Qingxue pouted, humming softly, "Don't you underestimate my shadow guard team," Ye Qingxue said angrily, "a bunch of kids still wet behind the ears. How capable can they be? Tell them all to go back. Stay properly within their families. Cultivating honestly is the proper business. Eliminating the blood-bath palace is not something for a group of juniors to worrying about." Still underestimating my shadow guard team, Ye Qingxue gave a secret smile. She clapped her hands. "Bring them in." For bodies were carried before Ye Qingxue. He recognized them at a glance. His expression changed drastically. The branch's right protector, the black saber duo, Chen Siling brothers. Not only did he recognize the protector, he also recognized the two 8th level Che condensation remnants. These were all infamous blood-bath palace experts. The government's experts had suffered considerable losses at their hands. To deal with them this time, Ye Qingxue had also mobilized a large number of experts, constantly guarding against sneak attacks. "They're actually dead," Ye Qingxue said, in disbelief. Ye Qingxue crossed her arms. Chen held high proudly. "My shadow guard team did it, Dad. Since you look down on them, your daughter can only obediently follow your command and disband the shadow guard team. Disband Fang Chen and the others." Ye Qingxue grew anxious. Looking at the shadow guards again, his face was full of deep admiration. "Young and promising. Truly young and promising. This city lord apologizes for my earlier disrespect. To all you young heroes, have the kitchen prepare a feast. Bring out this city lord's best wine. Tonight, I must properly reward them." Ye Qingxue looked smug. The few shadow guards felt overwhelmed by the favor. They exchanged glances and revealed the truth, reporting to City Lord. Actually, Shadow Guard number 1 killed them all by himself. Ye Qingxue couldn't help but look towards Shadow Guard number 1. In his heart, he still held some doubt that the 4 blood-bath palace remnants were killed by them. After all, how formidable Protector Tai Ying and the Black Saber duo were, he knew very well, and the so-called Shadow Guard team was just formed by a group of talented youths who hadn't seen the world. They were far inferior to the ruthless blood-bath palace remnants. For his daughter's sake, he hadn't pointed it out directly. Suddenly hearing that these individuals were all killed by one person, the doubt in his heart turned into a sense of absurdity. If they said the shadow guards did it collectively, he would pretend to believe it, but attributing all the credit to one person, it seemed too much like child's play. This nonsensical charade should stop. His eyes flashed. Suddenly, using his finger as a sword, he swept towards Fang Chen's chest. Fang Chen instinctively executed his movement technique, narrowly avoiding the sweep. Ye Qingxue's fingernail almost grazed Fang Chen's clothes. "Chen," he was slightly startled, he said. "You actually managed to dodge my strike." As soon as the words fell, he followed up with a palm strike. Fang Chen felt a suffocating pressure. As if facing the branch master again, he dared not be careless. He casually drew the iron sword from another shadow guard and directly thrust forward with 7 stars facing north. The immensely powerful sword move instantly broke through the palm momentum, bypassing the 5 fingers to strike directly at Ye Qingxue's face. The sudden sword strike startled Ye Qingxue. He quickly withdrew his palm. The entire hall instantly fell silent. He forced back Lone Boat City's number 1 expert. Ye Qingxue and the shadow guards were stunned for a moment. Although they knew the branch master had been injured by Fang Chen, that was heard from shadow guard number 2. Seeing it with their own eyes now was a different matter entirely. Ye Qingxue looked at the finger cut by the sword Che, then looked at shadow guard number 1. His eyes gleaming with astonishment. "Who are you? When did my Lone Boat City produce such a tearless prodigy?" He gazed at shadow guard number 1's mask, extremely eager to know who the sacred figure beneath the mask was. Ye Qingxue reacted quickly, hurriedly stepping in front of Fang Chen. "Dad, I promised the shadow guards that I wouldn't reveal their identities. You are also forbidden from privately investigating their true faces." Ye Qingxue felt as if his heart was being scratched by curiosity. But if he forcefully removed shadow guard number 1's mask, it would anger his daughter and offend this mysterious prodigy. "Shadow guard number 1, Ye Qingxue gave up the idea. But the look of amazement in his eyes lingered for a long time. Just based on that exchange earlier, it was sufficient proof that these few Blood Bat Palace remnants were indeed killed by Shadow Guard number 1. Truly, the new generation surpasses the old. He praised without reservation your future achievements. Will far surpass my, Fang Chen said. City lore is too kind. Ye Qingxue beamed with pride. Today, Shadow Guard number 1 had earned her immense honor. Dad, I promised the Shadow Guards that meritorious members could freely choose from our City Lord Manor's library. Shadow Guard number 1 has made such a great contribution. Can you let him choose now? Ye Qingxue frowned slightly. The books in this City Lord Manor's library are no ordinary items. Some were passed down from the Qingyun site. Just for a few Blood Bat Palace remnants. I'm afraid it's still somewhat insufficient. Fang Chen couldn't help but feel disappointed. He had hoped to find treasures in the City Lord Manor. Who said it was only these few remnants? Ye Qingxue smiled mysteriously. She said. Shadow Guard number 1 also encountered the Branch Master. Ye Qingxue was moved again. The praise on his face grew even richer. Impressive. To actually escape from the Branch Master's hands completely unharmed. I have crossed swords with him before. His spiritual power is a good 3 points stronger than mine. You actually managed to escape from his grasp. Ye Qingxue said with a half smile. Number 1. Shadow Guard not only escaped unscathed, he also blinded one of the Branch Master's eyes, greatly reducing his combat power. Ye Qingxue was truly shocked. Is this true? If it's true, the threat of the Branch Master would be significantly reduced. Ye Qingxue said. Daughter saw it with her own eyes. The Shadow Guards all saw it too. Learning that it was true, Ye Qingxue was overjoyed. He clapped Fang Chen on the shoulder. Well done. Take him to the City Lord Manor's library pavilion. Let him choose any one book he likes. The other Shadow Guards revealed looks of intense envy. The City Lord Manor's library pavilion. What kind of treasure trove was that? Amidst their envious gazes, Ye Qingxue led Shadow Guard number 1 towards the library pavilion. The City Lord Manor's library pavilion was underground. It had 3 levels of large gates, each level densely packed with countless hidden guards and mechanisms. Even the Blood Bat Palace would find it difficult to force their way in. Looking at the manuals tightly sealed within crystal treasure boxes, one by one, Fang Chen examined them as if he had found precious jewels. Almost all were cultivation techniques, and there were also cultivation methods highly sought after in the outside world. But they were all yellow rank mid-grade techniques or lower. For Fang Chen, they held little appeal. He noticed a manual sealed in purple crystal, hanging high up near the ceiling. Is this also a cultivation technique? Fang Chen asked, puzzled. Ye Qingxue shook her head. No. It's the medical treasure codex of the world's number 1 divine doctor, the Undying Physician. Fang Chen's eyes widened. Are you sure? That's the paramount figure in medicine throughout the entire Jiangji Pavilion territory. He treated countless illnesses in his life, and no patient ever died under his care. Hence, people called him the Undying Physician. Such a great figure, his medical treasure codex would be placed in a small lone boat city. I know what you're thinking. I felt the same when I first found out. Ye Qingxue took down the hanging crystal box with a wry smile. She said, this was the Undying Physician's arrangement. He copied his medical treasure codex into several hundred copies and placed one in every city. His purpose was that one day he could find a destined person to inherit his medical arts. Fang Chen looked incredulous. The Undying Healer lacks a successor. With his peerless medical skills, countless people would be begging to inherit his unique knowledge. You'll understand when you see it, Ye Qingxue said with a wry smile. She unlocked the crystal case. Fang Chen took it. He eagerly opened it for a look. Every page was densely covered in pinpricks. There was no discernible pattern. It resembled a child's prank. This is the Undying Healer's legacy. A large question mark appeared over Fang Chen's head. Ye Qingxue sighed. So, now you know why it was collecting dust. It was arranged by the Undying Healer to be sent to Lone Boat City. We just tossed it aside long ago. Fang Chen felt overwhelmed too. Could the Undying Healer have been playing a trick on everyone? Just as he was thinking this, a sudden sense of clarity washed over his mind. The pinpricks on the book's pages, from his perspective, began to twist strangely. We do have a yellow rank mid-grade heart technique here. You know, Ye Qingxue thoughtfully suggested. Fang Chen snapped back to reality, holding the codex of the Undying Healer. He said, "I want this one." Ye Qingxue looked utterly astonished. "What do you want that for? No one has ever been able to comprehend it." Fang Chen suppressed the excitement in his heart. He said, "I want to give it a try. Could you provide me with a private chamber? I want to look at it quietly." Seeing Fang Chen wasn't joking, Ye Qingxue could only let out a long sigh. "All right. What a pity to waste such a good opportunity on a useless medical text." Fang Chen entered Ye Qingxue's private cultivation chamber. He immediately opened the book. He began reading it anew. As the sense of clarity resurfaced in his mind, the pinpricks on the pages started twisting again. As the pinpricks moved, they actually formed a diagram of the human meridians. Each pinprick represented a specific acupoint on the human body. Turning to the second page, the pinpricks began to twist as well, forming the image of a human figure holding a silver needle. The pinpricks twisted similarly. By the time Fang Chen finished the fourth page, it was already dusk. He had been completely absorbed for the entire day, and his gains were immense from the changing arrangements of the pinpricks. He learned an astonishingly miraculous medical art. This truly was the legacy of the Undying Healer. To learn it, one needed exceptionally high comprehension. Rubbing his sore eyes, Fang Chen left the private chamber, only to find the residence in chaos. Many patrolling guards were running towards the main hall. Fang Chen stopped a guard. He asked, "Have remnants of the Blood Bat Palace appeared?" The guard saw it was Shadow Guard 1. He immediately stood at attention respectfully. He said, reporting to Lord Mu, "It's not the Blood Bat Palace remnants, it's the Chen clan head. The city lord and the young miss are preparing to visit and confirm the situation. They are currently gathering the accompanying guards." Chen Siling's father. Only then did Fang Chen realize. Chen Siling, merely a young woman, why had she stepped up to manage the situation? It turned out her father had been gravely ill all along. Thinking of his connection with Chen Siling, Fang Chen sighed inwardly. "I should go take a look too." Ye Jifeng walked in front. Ye Qingxue and Fang Chen walked side by side behind him. "What illness does the Chen clan head have?" Fang Chen asked. Ye Qingxue sighed softly. He was injured by an enemy. His heart meridian was shattered. All these years, he's relied on heavenly resources and earthly treasures to cling to life. From now on, the Chen family will likely face very difficult times. If that enemy learns of his passing, they most likely won't spare his wife and daughter. Great kindnesses and deep grudges in the mortal world are especially brutal in the martial world. Fail to cut the weeds and dig up the roots today, and tomorrow you invite ruin upon your own family. While the Chen clan head lived, the enemy might have held back slightly, but now, the other party absolutely would not let them go. Fang Chen listened silently. He sighed inwardly again. He couldn't help but feel pity for Chen Siling, this intelligent, quick-witted, and very beautiful young lady, while he was in Lone Boat City. Perhaps he could help her a little if he left one day. Her fate would be entirely her own. White lanterns were already hung at the residence entrance. A pitch-black coffin rested in the central courtyard. Inside lay a middle-aged man with a square face. Bleeding from the 7 orifices, his skin darkened. It was precisely Chen Yuqiu, Chen Siling, dressed in plain white mourning clothes, knelt before the coffin. Her eyes were full of tear tracks. Her slender body, amidst the sorrowful atmosphere, appeared especially mournful and poignant. Several other prominent families had also arrived. The Chen family in Lone Boat City was a major, well-regarded family. Naturally, they had connections with many upper-class families. The Zhu family was, of course, among them. Zhu Jianshan represented the Zhu family. Kneeling before the coffin to pay respects, he feigned sorrow, saying, "Uncle Chen, if I had known earlier your injury was to the heart meridian, I would have insisted on returning to the Azure Cloud Sect to bring back a golden silkworm life-extending pill to treat you." Beside him, the Chen clan matriarch, Liu Qin, helped him up with tears in her eyes. "Just having this sentiment from you, your Uncle Chen would be content in the afterlife." Fang Chen, however, slightly shook his head. The golden silkworm life-extending pill was a unique formula of the Undying Healer. Since he rode the crane to the west, this pill had long been lost. The Azure Cloud Sect didn't have it either. Zhu Jianchen, trying to curry favor with the Chen family, was spouting lies. Let's pay our respects to. Ye Jifeng led Ye Qingxue forward. They bowed deeply. He said to Ye Qingxue, "You stay and talk more with Miss Chen." Fang Chen also knelt and bowed. Rising, he looked at Chen Siling, whose tears wouldn't stop. He said, "Please restrain your grief." Chen Siling paused, startled. She found the voice somewhat familiar. But immersed in her sorrow at this moment, she had no mind to care. She merely nodded in response. Fang Chen sighed silently. Preparing to rise, his ears twitched. A strange look appeared in his eyes as he glanced at the coffin. He had actually heard faint pulse signs, the kind only living people possess. Could Chen Yuqiu not be completely dead? He couldn't help but ask, "Are you certain the clan head's heart meridian shows no activity?" The sudden inquiry made the Chen clansman feel slightly offended. Liu Qin demanded, "This young master, Fang Chen, hearing the pulse, weak as a hair thread, ready to break at any moment, had no time for lengthy explanations. He approached the body, reached out to feel his pulse, saying, "Let me confirm." The Chen clansmen roared in anger. They moved to obstruct Fang Chen. One white-bearded old clansman even swung a hoe towards the back of Fang Chen's head. Fang Chen could only give up. He dodged aside, instead. Liu Qin's eyes widened in fury. "Does my Chen family have enmity with you? Why disrespect my late husband's remains?" Ye Qingxue's expression changed slightly. She quickly stepped forward. "Madam Chen, calm your anger. Members of the Chen clan, please calm yourselves. This is my shadow guard one." The white-bearded clansman holding the hoe stroked his beard and huffed. "If there's no ill intent, why disrespect our clan head?" Even Ye Qingxue couldn't understand why Fang Chen was being so reckless. It concerned the life of Chen Siling's father. Fang Chen could only speak rapidly. "To be honest, I just detected a faint pulse from the clan head." Chen Siling shot up excitedly. Wiping away tears, she asked, "Is what you're saying true?" "Decide them." Zhu Jianchen frowned. "Where did this guy pop out from?" "Stealing his thunder," he said gently. "Sister Siling, you believe the nonsense of an outsider, but not the renowned doctor of your own clan." The white-bearded elder also glared at Fang Chen. "Prat, could it be that Chen Wuji, the #1 divine doctor of Lone Boat City, would mistake whether someone is dead or alive?" This Chen clan elder before them, Chen Wuji, was indeed the renowned divine doctor, with his medical skills. It was impossible that he could misdiagnose death. Chen Siling finally came back to her senses, her face filled with sorrow once more. Thump! She knelt before the coffin again. Fang Chen anxiously wanted to say more. Chen Wuji barked, "Guards, throw this troublemaking madman out." Ye Qingxue couldn't speak up for Fang Chen anymore, she said with some reproach. "You must be too tired. Go back and rest first." Fang Chen felt utterly helpless. Chen Yuqiu was clearly still alive, yet he could do nothing. A burst of harsh laughter came loudly from outside. "Shouldn't you people repay your debt?" Coming to collect debts at the Chen family's most painful moment, only an enemy would do such a thing. Everyone followed the sound with their eyes. A robust, black-robed man with a fleshy, fierce face, his cultivation at the first layer of foundation establishment, stepped into the mourning hall with a cruel smile. Seeing the incense burner placed before the coffin, he kicked it over with one foot. A villain who doesn't keep his word. Is he even worthy of incense offerings? Chen Siling was caught completely off guard. Fury instantly erupted in her beautiful eyes. She shouted, "Black-faced tiger, you go too far." Her father had been severely injured by him back then. Now, his bones barely cold, he actually came to insult the mourning hall. He was truly bullying the Chen family now that they lacked a leader. Zhu Jianchen, intending to play the hero saving the damsel, stepped forward and huffed, "Black-faced tiger, if you know what's good for you, leave immediately. This is not a place for you to run wild." He assumed Black-faced tiger, seeing that he was a disciple of the Azure Cloud sect, would back down. Black-faced tiger shot him a contemptuous glance. Showing no respect, paying debts is natural and right. Even if the Azure Cloud Sect Master himself came, this debt must still be paid. Want to play the hero saving the damsel? Why don't you pay the Chen family's debt then? Black-faced tiger was Lone Boat City's underground emperor, specializing in shady dealings. He was a local tyrant. He wasn't the least bit afraid of a disciple returning from the Azure Cloud sect. Ye Qingxue gritted his teeth. How much? I'll pay it for Sister Siling. He thought he could afford it. Black-faced Tiger said playfully, not much, not much. It's pocket change for young Master Ju. Just 5 million taels. Ye Qingxue drew a sharp, cold breath. Unless he sold off all the Ju family assets. He couldn't possibly gather that much money. Black-faced Tiger chuckled coldly. Got the money or not? If not, please step aside, young Master Ju. There's no part for you to play the hero here. Ye Qingxue's face flushed red and pale alternately. But he couldn't lash out. He could only give a muffled grunt and silently retreat to the side. Anyway, with such a huge debt, it was normal that he couldn't handle it. He believed no one could resolve this massive debt for the Chen family. Ye Qingxue also showed a troubled expression. Although she was the city lord's daughter, she couldn't interfere in debt collection between others. If anyone was to blame, it was the Chen family for owing too much. Even if she wanted to help, she was powerless. Chen Siling shouted through tears. 3 years ago, my father clearly only borrowed 1 million from you. Later, when he brought 1 million to repay you, you ambushed my father, severely injuring him. Now that my father is dead, you come demanding 5 million. Never mind that the Chen family can't produce 5 million. Even if we could, we wouldn't let you demand such an exorbitant price. Wantonly seizing the Chen family's assets. Black-faced Tiger stretched out a hand with a fake smile. Hand it over. Did your father repay the money? Chen Siling said angrily. My father was injured by you. He's been unconscious until now. Black-faced Tiger's eyes turned fierce. He raised his hand to slap her. No receipt. Just as his palm was about to strike Chen Siling's face, a sharp sword grazed past Chen Siling's ear. Thrusting forward from a cunning angle, startled, Black-faced Tiger quickly retracted his palm and retreated several steps. He looked at his palm, at the skin cut by the sharp sword shed. He couldn't help but feel secretly alarmed. Just the sword shed alone nearly crippled his hand. Since when did the Chen family have such a powerful person? Looking up, he saw a person wearing a unique mask engraved with the character 1 slowly walk out from behind Chen Siling. Fang Chen pointed his sword at him. A trace of wariness appeared on Black-faced Tiger's face. He shouted, "Do you dare state your name?" In his line of work, the ones he feared least were the so-called prominent families. Because prominent families had elders and young ones. If they dared to act against Black-faced Tiger, he could retaliate against their families. But someone like this masked person before him, with a mysterious identity and powerful strength, he wouldn't even know where to seek revenge. Fang Chen stood before Chen Siling. He indifferently uttered 2 words, Shadow Guard 1. What kind of name is that? Black-faced Tiger was annoyed. This person was clearly not ignorant of worldly affairs. He likely wouldn't reveal his identity. Adopting a slightly more polite tone, he said, "Little brother, I'm just here to collect a debt. Please don't interfere excessively." Fang Chen frowned slightly. Paying debts was only right and proper for normal debt collection. He indeed shouldn't interfere unduly, but if it was malicious extortion, that was another matter entirely. He turned his head towards Chen Siling. Is what you said true? Chen Siling looked curiously at this Shadow Guard 1. She didn't know why he was protecting her. She didn't know any peer her age with such high strength. I can swear to the heavens. Chen Siling nodded repeatedly. Black-faced Tiger snorted heavily. What use is swearing? What I want is concrete proof. Your Chen family's IOU is right here. 3 years comes out to exactly 5 million. Hand it over now. Listening to their words, and considering Chen Yuqiu's condition, Fang Chen understood the situation. He narrowed his eyes. Staring at Black-faced Tiger, he said, "Do you think dead men tell no tales?" The reason he only came now was because he wasn't sure before if Chen Yuqiu still drew breath. Now that he thought him thoroughly dead, he dared to come fish in troubled waters to extort money. Black-faced Tiger, shameless as a dead pig impervious to boiling water, pulled over a stool. He sat down in the center of the morning hall. Crossing his legs, I don't care what you say. 5 million taels of silver. I must see it. That old thing Chen Yuqiu can forget about resting in peace. Seeing this, Fang Chen became even more certain of his judgment. He said lightly, "I regret to inform you, clan head Chen is not dead yet." Black-faced Tiger was startled. But recalling how he had secretly observed Chen Yuqiu's face earlier, darkened and bluish-purple, the state of being utterly dead. His heart settled down again. He gave a fake smile. "Yo, just by flapping your lips, a dead man can become alive." Fang Chen ignored him. He turned to Chen Siling, said, "Your father still has a faint pulse. If I act now, there's still a chance to save him. Discuss it with your clansmen. If you agree, I will begin treatment immediately. Otherwise, I will be powerless to help." The clansmen who were indignant earlier were now all silenced, because the only hope to save the Chen family now was for clan head Chen to return from the dead. Only the white-haired old clansman known as Chen Wuji raised his hoe again and roared, "Insolence! You are not allowed to touch a single hair on the clan head." However, this time, he was met with a rebuke from Liu Qin. "Do you want to watch our Chen family be destroyed? Whether what this young master says is true or not, letting him try treating a dead horse as if it were alive is better than just waiting for death." She then bowed respectfully. "Young master, I beg you, please save my husband." Chen Siling's eyes reddened even more. A moment ago, she hadn't trusted Shadow Guard 1, but after the recent events, this Shadow Guard 1 was protecting her. Father really wasn't dead. He could really be revived. Thump, she knelt down. "If you can save my father, I will be your ox and horse. At your command for the rest of my life." Fang Chen helped her up. He said, "Since none of you object, I will begin the treatment." He walked up to Chen Yuqiu's body. Following the medical techniques from the Codex of the Undying Healer, he circulated energy and regulated his breathing for him. Simultaneously, he pressed continuously on major acupoints, activating his nearly stagnant organs. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, he was already drenched in sweat. But Chen Yuqiu showed no signs of reviving. Black-faced Tiger's tense heart relaxed. He rubbed his head, said, "Enough with the smoke and mirrors. Your Chen family should repay the debt now." Chen Siling's eyes, which had initially held expectation, now dimmed, her face filled with sorrow. She had been so foolish to actually believe that the dead could be resurrected. Zhu Jianshan and Chen Wuji exchanged glances. Both revealed a trace of mockery. The Chen clansmen filling the hall were also deeply disappointed. A weak groan came from within the coffin. "If you have the guts, come get the money from me in the underworld. What kind of skill is it to bully my Chen family's orphans and widows?" Everyone in the hall jolted in fright. Some even screamed. The female clansmen's faces turned pale with fright, running panickedly out of the hall. The male clansmen also showed alarm on their faces. Even Black-faced Tiger trembled violently in fear. His fleshy face quivered. He stammered, "G-Ghost." Only Chen Siling and her mother Liu Qin rushed to the coffin in joyous surprise. Seeing Chen Yuqiu slowly opening his eyes, truly alive, they let out cries of joy. Only then did the crowd regain their composure. They gathered around, seeing Chen Yuqiu truly alive. They were all utterly shocked. The clan head had actually returned from the dead. This Shadow Guard 1 could really revive the dead. A truly great divine doctor. Ye Qingxue's pretty face was covered in shock. He was actually a divine doctor too. Could it be he really learned something from the Codex of the Undying Healer? No one could understand that codex, but regardless, Shadow Guard 1's profound medical skill was genuine. She glanced at Zhu Jianshan. A thoughtful look appeared in her eyes, with the crowd support. Chen Yuqiu sat in the clan head seat. He stared coldly at Black-faced Tiger. Said, "You want the receipt, is that right?" He forcefully pulled out one of his own false teeth. Inside was hidden a tiny, tightly folded ball of paper. It was indeed the receipt signed by Black-faced Tiger. "The receipt you personally wrote after I repaid you 1 million taels of silver," Chen Yuqiu shouted. The Chen clansmen had a sudden realization. No wonder they hadn't found the receipt on Chen Yuqiu when they carried him back. It turned out Chen Yuqiu had anticipated Black-faced Tiger's scheme and hidden the receipt in such a secret place beforehand. Seeing his plot exposed, Black-faced Tiger guiltily fled, fearing encirclement by the enraged Chen family. He worried he wouldn't be able to leave the Chen residence. Just as everyone thought the matter was over, Chen Yuqiu suddenly roared. Chen Wuji, get over here. Everyone turned to look. The divine doctor the Chen family prided themselves on was currently taking advantage of the crowd to sneakily slip away. Hatred filled Chen Yuqiu's eyes. Black-faced tiger injured me. That was due to my inferior skills. But you eating the Chen family's food, drinking the Chen family's drink, you actually colluded with outsiders to plot my death, you traitorous thing. Biting the hand that feeds you, seize him and tie him up. Make him confess who wanted to harm me. The Chen clansmen were greatly shocked. It turned out that for these past 3 years, Chen Yuqiu's persistent unconsciousness and his worsening injuries were Chen Wuji's doing. Several young clansmen roar and lunge forward, pinning him forcefully to the ground and binding him tightly. Chen Wuji pleaded for mercy. Clan head, spare me, I was forced to. Then Chen Yuqiu slammed his palm on the table. He roared, still trying to argue, you were forced. When this young divine doctor detected my pulse, knowing I wasn't dead yet, why did you try everything to stop him from taking my pulse? Only then did the Chen clansman recall how Chen Wuji had previously brandished his hoe, obstructing Fang Chen as if facing a mortal enemy, and under his lead, all the Chen clansmen had wanted to drive Fang Chen away. They felt both hatred and immense self-reproach. They had become accomplices in the potential murder of their clan head. The clansmen, filled with rising anger, grabbed clubs and sticks and began beating him mercilessly. But after just a few blows, Chen Wuji let out a blood-curdling scream, coughed up blood, and died. Visible on his back was the mark of a shuttle-like projectile that had pierced his heart. Clearly, someone had silenced him to prevent him from revealing the mastermind. However, the earlier chaos was extreme. No one noticed who made the move. This left Chen Yuqiu both furious and anxious. Traces of blood seeped from his mouth. Fang Chen said helplessly, Clan head Chen, the matter of the mastermind can be investigated later. It's not too late. Right now, you should focus on recuperating. The Chen clansmen dared not be careless. They immediately carried Chen Yuqiu into a room. Fang Chen checked his pulse again and prescribed a new, targeted medicine. After one bowl of medicine, Chen Yuqiu vomited several mouthfuls of black blood. His entire being instantly felt much lighter. You saved not only me, but the entire Chen family. Chen Yuqiu struggled to get off the bed, intending to kneel before Fang Chen. Fang Chen waved his hand. No need for formalities. Take this prescription continuously for 1 month, and most of your old injuries will recover. Chen Yuqiu hurriedly said, Divine Doctor, please wait. Siling, go to the treasury quickly and fetch 1 million taels of silver for the Divine Doctor. Chen Siling nodded, without the slightest hesitation. Compared to Shadow Guard 1's life-saving grace, saving the entire clan, 1 million taels was simply too worthwhile. Fang Chen chuckled softly, I only acted because of your daughter. Chen Siling looked bewildered. She didn't know any peer her age with such high strength and such divine medical skills. Chen Yuqiu's gaze couldn't help but shift to Chen Siling. Unconscious for 3 years, he had to admit, his daughter had blossomed into a graceful young woman, a beauty admired by all. Fang Chen's intention became instantly clear to him. After pondering for a long while, he gritted his teeth slightly, said, Siling, this young master will stay in our residence tonight. Go prepare dinner and entertain him well. Chen Siling, having managed the family affairs for 3 years, how could she not understand the underlying meaning? Fang Chen's image involuntarily surfaced in her mind. Then she looked at the masked man before her. If she yielded herself to this masked man, she would no longer be worthy of Fang Chen, not even worthy of being his concubine. Chen Yuqiu cried out in heartache, as someone with experience. He knew too well what kind of debt was hardest to repay in this world. It was the debt of human feeling. The longer it dragged on, the heavier it became. He could only hope that this Shadow Guard 1 was an upright gentleman, whose feelings for his daughter stopped at admiration, and wouldn't take the next step. That possibility was far too slim. Chen Siling bit her red lip slightly. Her eyes held a sad mist. She turned and bolted into the kitchen. Fang Chen, however, was clueless. He didn't understand what was going on between the father and daughter. Why just having dinner? would make Chen Siling cry grievance was his mask that scary. He had intended to politely decline the dinner. But now he felt a little indignant. How had he made Chen Siling unhappy? I am very much looking forward to Miss Chen's dinner. Fang Chen huffed lightly. Chen Yuqiu's heart skipped a beat. His daughter would likely lose her innocence tonight. If Shadow Guard 1 were an upright gentleman, he would certainly demur somewhat, but he didn't even try to refuse. Making no effort to hide his intentions, his daughter likely couldn't escape. He sighed heavily, yet he was helpless. Who told their Chen family to owe such an immense debt of gratitude? Chen Siling shooed the head chef away. Get out, I'll cook myself. The chef froze. Young miss, when did you learn to cook? Chen Siling huffed. There's a lot I know. Why are you pouring the whole jar in? I want to salt him to death. That plate of beef isn't cooked through yet. I want him to gag on the raw taste. Didn't he take a fancy to me? What exactly does he see in me? When the moon hung over the willow branches, several plates of blackened, unrecognizably burnt dishes were placed before him. Fang Chen froze on the spot. Burnt medicinal herbs? Fang Chen asked strangely. Chen Siling sat opposite him. Unlike her usual demeanor, the reserved pose of a well-bred young lady, she intentionally wore a greasy apron. Her usually fair and tender hands were covered in unwashed grease stains. Even her previously stunningly beautiful face, under her deliberate dishevelment, had messy hair and was smudged with soap and all. She looked exactly like a servant girl doing hard labor. Young master jests. These are dishes personally cooked by this humble girl, Chen Siling said with a forced smile, trying her best to appear annoying. Although they look a bit unsightly, they are actually quite delicious. Try some if you don't believe me. Fang Chen stared speechlessly at the table full of dishes. He sighed. I have to say, you truly have no talent for this. Even a child could probably do better than you. He expected Chen Siling to be unhappy. Instead, she secretly beamed with delight. She thought to herself, yes, I just can't cook. Wiping the strange look off her face, she said seriously, I already tried very hard. Fang Chen hadn't intended to make things difficult for her over the food. He was just very curious why she had cried grievance earlier. Did I offend you in some way? It could only be that he had unintentionally offended her. Chen Siling paused. Startled, Fang Chen had saved her first, then saved her father, then saved the entire Chen family. She couldn't be more grateful. How could he have offended her? She quickly waved her hands, wanting to explain clearly, but then she remembered what she needed to do now was make him dislike her. She instinctively crossed her arms over her chest, raised her chin high, and remained silent. Her right foot tapped lightly and repeatedly on the ground, sulking visibly. Fang Chen waited for a long time, only to be met with this posture. He couldn't help rolling his eyes. This woman is really difficult to handle. Fang Chen's face fell. He wanted to just leave. But on second thought, he felt unsettled. He had helped the Chen family so much, only to receive a belly full of resentment in return. He threw down his chopsticks, his face cold. He said, my shoulders are sore. Today, I have to get some face back somehow. Chen Siling secretly scoffed. CC. The fox's tail is showing. He hasn't even eaten. And he wants me to massage his shoulders. Truly. Sima Zhao's intentions are known to all. His ulterior motives are obvious. Seeing her sit as steady as Mount Tai, Fang Chen scoffed, said, you did say you would entertain me well. If you hadn't meant how about just rubbing my shoulders? Don't blame me for tattling to your father. He's really annoying. She ground her silver teeth. Reluctantly, she came behind Fang Chen. Towards his head, she made several fierce, wolf-like gestures. Then, she grudgingly extended her hands to knead. She wouldn't knead properly. With every pinch, she used her full strength. Fortunately, Fang Chen had broken through to the 9th layer of Qi refinement. His flesh and blood were much tougher than ordinary people's. Therefore, her full strength, to Fang Chen's perception, was just right. The pressure is moderate. Seems you're quite talented at this sort of work. Fang Chen praised. This threw Chen Siling into a panic. She didn't want this Shadow Guard 1 to appreciate her. She wanted him to dislike her. So after just a few kneads, she feigned exhaustion, panting heavily. I can't go on. You've only kneaded a few times. Even a fool could see Fang Chen knew this girl was deliberately slacking off. Just as he was about to demand she continue, suddenly, his ears twitched slightly. "Your pulse seems a bit off." Fang Chen turned around. Grabbing her fair wrist in one swift motion, Chen Siling quickly pulled her hand away. Disgust grew in her heart, closing in step by step. "Are we?" First, the shoulder rub, then using that as an excuse to grab her hand. The next step is to create even more intimate contact. "Right, I saw through you long ago." Fang Chen's image uncontrollably surfaced in her mind again. Both possessed great abilities. But Fang Chen was so humble and polite when they were alone. When had Fang Chen not maintained a proper distance? When had he not acted like a perfect gentleman, unlike this shadow guard one? Finding ways to take advantage, truly repulsive. He's not even 1% as good as Fang Chen. Chen Siling's face turned cold. She refused curtly. But Fang Chen had genuinely heard something. He sized her up strangely, observing her complexion. Yet he found everything normal. Neither sick nor healthy. Truly strange. Don't avoid treatment out of fear. One check will reveal the truth. Chen Siling sneered inwardly, failed to take advantage. So now he's resorting to feigning concern. She rolled her eyes. Impolitely pointing at the dinner on the table. "Young master, you should eat quickly. After you finish, I'll have a maid escort you back to your room to sleep." She had made up her mind. She absolutely would not let Shadow Guard 1 succeed. Fang Chen, however, was anxious about her condition. This isn't some minor ache or pain. Thinking of how she had once helped him conceal his tracks as a 3-star soul master. From an unknown powerhouse, Fang Chen stood up. "Excuse my offense." Chen Siling jumped in fright. She also quickly stood up. Her hands protectively crossed over her chest. Warily, she asked, "What are you trying to do?" Fang Chen, without another word, strode over in 2 or 3 steps. One hand reached for her wrist. Chen Siling retreated in panic, unexpectedly. Behind her was a raised threshold. Suddenly, she stumbled and fell backward. Her fall wasn't the main issue. She also grabbed Fang Chen's hand. Pulling him down with her, a cliché scene unfolded. Fang Chen landed right on top of Chen Siling. Their foreheads touched. They could feel each other's breath. Just a fraction closer, and their lips would have met. Even Fang Chen, being a man, couldn't help blushing instantly. He scrambled up quickly. Said, "My apologies." Chen Siling, however, trembled with rage. It was exactly as she had predicted. This shameless fellow would find ways to create intimate contact. Wasn't this basically forcing himself on her? Chen Siling was scared. She no longer hid her intentions. Scrambling up, she kept backing away. She said coldly, "Sir, I already have someone in my heart. I will absolutely never accept another man. If you dare come closer, I would rather die before your eyes." Did Chen Siling misunderstand something? Actually, there's no need to explain. Chen Siling interrupted him loudly. "What you're thinking? I know it better than you do. You saved my Chen family. Everyone, we should thank you with everything we have. But forgive me, I cannot yield myself to you. I hope you understand." Veins throbbed on Fang Chen's forehead. He ripped off his mask. "What on earth is going on in that head of yours?" "What's going on in your head?" Chen Siling retorted subconsciously, when she saw the face beneath the mask. Fang Chen, she couldn't believe her eyes. Her mind went blank. "You helped our Chen family, truly because of me," Fang Chen said irritably. "What else? What were you thinking? You took me for some kind of lecher." Chen Siling was completely stunned. Then she remembered. Her deliberately disheveled appearance, the disastrously cooked dishes, her intentionally annoying behavior. She suddenly felt like life wasn't worth living. In front of the person she liked most, she had revealed her most embarrassing side. Covering her face, she burst into tears. Chen Yuqiu heard the commotion and came over. Seeing his daughter crying on the ground from afar, he thought she had been wronged. Heartbroken and blaming himself, he said, "I'm sorry, Siling. Father shouldn't have made you bear this burden." Then he looked at Fang Chen. He said gravely, "Please come back another day. Even if my Chen family goes bankrupt, we will repay your kindness." Chen Siling quickly wiped her tears. "Father, I wasn't wronged. We misunderstood." After she explained Fang Chen's identity, Chen Yuqiu finally understood.